You might be here because you watched my video about my very first meet being an absolute train wreck. If you are wondering what was so bad about that first meet that you did, Mel, what made it so chaotic, let me take you through it. I'm hoping that by the end of this video, you will not make the same mistakes I did at your first competition. Mistake number one definitely has to be the fact that I got all my information from random forums and random people, and I took all of that information at face value. Uh-oh. I did not look on YouTube. Maybe YouTube had better information. I'm not very hopeful about that for that period of time because YouTube was still a little bit on the newer side. But if you're here in my channel, that means you're already getting really good information about powerlifting. I wasn't following anything powerlifting related on any type of media platform. You're already one step way ahead of me just by being here and watching my content because I have over a decade of experience. I have made so many mistakes. I've had so many successes. I've helped so many lifters get first place. I've also learned a lot from my lifters and their unique mistakes as well. The next mistake I made was that I signed up for a competition 10 days out. That's a huge mistake. I don't take on any clients who are less than 12 weeks out from their competition because it's not enough time to prepare for your competition. It's not enough time to train. It's not enough time to taper. It's not enough time to peak. At that point, I was supposed to be doing my deload. I think I did do a deload, but what was I deloading from exactly? I don't know. I should have picked a meet way farther out, not 10 days out. So if you're planning to compete, definitely pick something at least 10 to 12 weeks out. You want a good bit of time to prepare. Next mistake I made was when I was registering, I registered for the next weight class down. I registered for the 148 class, which meant everybody between 132 pounds and 148 pounds can sign up for that category. And I was 158 pounds, y'all. I was 10 pounds overweight. That means I had to lose 10 pounds in 10 days. In my defense, a little bit, I looked back at my weight logs and I was at 140 pounds a few months prior to my competition. And that means that I gained 18 pounds within like a few months, which is absolutely insane. I don't know why I gained that much weight. I don't remember what happened in that time period. I can see how I justified in my own head that I should have been in the lower weight class because I was so used to seeing myself in the 140s that I guess I justified it. I don't know. I can't explain it. And if you weigh 10 pounds over your competition weight for your first, second, third competition, please just sign up for the competition that you currently weigh in at. Don't use competitions as your external motivator for weight loss. My next mistake was I didn't read the rule book. I should have read it. I'm pretty sure I just asked the person that was helping me with my signups and with finding the competition. He probably told me these are the commands that you need to do, and he might have told me to read the rules. I definitely didn't read them thoroughly enough. I'm going to try to put a tally up here somewhere so we could track all the mistakes I made because they were a lot. On to the next one. I didn't read the rules, therefore I didn't know the commands. I didn't have enough time to practice the commands because I registered for the meet 10 days out. All of these mistakes are interwoven and tied together because if you sign up for a meet 10 days out, when are you going to have the time to practice your commands? You're pretty much not. So I didn't practice the commands, which eventually led to me missing my commands on my first squat. One of my other mistakes I made is doing an aggressive water cut. Water cuts are going to make you weaker. They're going to deplete your energy sources. And I also probably didn't rehydrate correctly. I probably just ate whatever after. So I didn't do my water cut right. I cut too much weight and I didn't rehydrate appropriately. I also learned things about my body by doing water cuts that now allow me to potentially do things differently if I ever do one again, which I just don't foresee myself doing another water cut because it's torture and I don't want to hurt my body. I wish I did my weight cut differently. If I was giving myself advice on my weight, there's things that I would advise myself. I'm not going to get into it here, but if you want to hear about different weight cut strategies I would use and implement now versus back then, let me know. I can drop a video you. The next mistake I made, I never watched a powerlifting competition before competing. I really recommend that if you guys have never competed and never watched a powerlifting competition, watch one before you ever compete. Go there in the morning when they're first gonna compete at 9 a.m. when they start their lifts. Be there, watch the flow of the meet, watch where they're warming up, watch how the flow of the meet is going. The main thing is knowing the organization of the competition. And it was a different back then. In 2013, the layout of competitions wasn't as good as they are now. They're so much more organized now. Lifters have a very secluded area where only they are warming up. Things are so much better now than they used to be. I would definitely prepare differently now than before. My next big error was taking so much caffeine in the morning. Definitely a big no-no. Let me give you some advice about caffeine and competing. You do not want to be overly caffeinated for your competition, especially for your first lift. If you're squatting, and especially if you're a woman, you're in flight A, you're a lighter weight lifter, you're one of the first ones to go, you don't want to be overly caffeinated. There's something called the inverted U curve of excitability. It looks like a bell curve, and at the two edges, you have the least excitable, which is when you are not caffeinated, not excited whatsoever. The curve goes up as you're getting really excited to do something, or as you're taking stimulants, caffeine. And then there's this drop off where when you're too excited, you become anxious. If you're taking too much caffeine, you become nervous. And that is where your performance drops off. You want to be at the peak where you are amped up, but focused. When you take too much caffeine, you are too amped and you can lose focus and you can lose your performance benefits from the caffeine. This is why I recommend that people only drink their normal cup of coffee or however much caffeine you normally take in the morning. You don't want to take pre-workout on top of that. And I will go so far as to say you don't want to take pre-workout for your bench press either. You want to save it for your deadlifts at the end of the competition when you've already had two peaks of excitability and you need that boost for your deadlifts. Take your pre-workout then, and you don't want to take a crazy amount. You just want to take a normal amount of pre-workout just to get yourself amped up to get you through deadlifts. Now, if you're a really advanced lifter, you've competed a bunch and you're like, caffeine doesn't really get me past that peak. I can still perform at my best if I take a bunch of caffeine and I actually need a bunch of caffeine because I've competed so much at this point, then fine, go do it. You don't want your first couple of competitions to be executed with way too much caffeine in your system. I've seen people get really nervous, get really anxious before doing their squats and not be able to calm themselves down because they've taken too much caffeine. So don't make that mistake. Okay, circling back, what was my next mistake at my powerlifting competition? Can you guess it? Aside from not following my commands for my squat, it was also skipping my second planned attempt squat and taking my third. Let me actually paint a picture of what happened. I had 3 planned attempts. You get a first, a second, and a third. My first was 165. My second was supposed to be 185. My third was supposed to be, let's say, 205. Because I missed my first attempt, I repeated it. Instead of taking my planned second attempt, which was 185, I skipped over 185 and I went straight to my third attempt, which was planned. That was a mistake. I tell my lifters now, if you miss your planned first and you end up repeating it on your second, you want to take your planned second attempt as your third. You are no longer going to take your planned third attempt because you missed one of your other attempts. You have to go sequentially. You don't want to all of a sudden load your body with way more than you did for your last attempt. You want to play it smart. Always take your attempts in order. Another mistake that I made that even advanced lifters make, and this is really crazy, I wasn't paying attention to the leaderboard. And if you guys want to know, I took 5th place and the girl who took 4th place ahead of me only totaled 11 pounds more than me. And the girl who took 3rd place totaled 22 pounds more than. Granted, I did so terribly on my squats because of poor attempt selection that it was over for me at that point. If I had gotten my 2nd attempt squat, I would have tied for 3rd place and I would have placed in my first competition. Do you know how dumb that makes me feel that I was that close to placing in my first competition and I could have placed? I had the strength there. I did push my deadlift a lot, but I could have probably gotten a 303. And you know what's crazy? 2nd place was only 6 pounds over 3rd place. Do you know how dumb I feel knowing that I was only 11 pounds away from placing higher and only 22 pounds away from actually taking home a medal for my first competition? Yeah, I feel really dumb. Another one of my mistakes was definitely not buying my equipment. I like a meet that was not far enough out, so I didn't have enough time practice using my belt and break it in and learn how to use it properly. And I probably could have PR'd bigger if I knew how to use my belt. And I actually used it. Knee sleeves weren't really a thing at the time. I think there was only one brand, but if I had a coach and if I had enough time from when I signed up to when I did the competition, I could have probably bought knee sleeves and used knee sleeves at the competition as well. I think that would have gone a lot better for me. In general, just learning to use the equipment, learning what equipment I needed and breaking it in would have been a lot better for me. But again, mistakes you make when you don't know what the heck you're doing. A huge mistake I made in my competition overall was not hiring a coach to coach me at all in powerlifting. I wasn't following a powerlifting program. I wish I could have found a female coach who specialized in helping women get stronger, who understood the female body, who understood the female anatomy, who understood our personal strengths and limitations. There wasn't a lot of female coaches back then, period. And there were not many who were not intimidating. I don't know. I feel like a lot of women are so muscular or they look so athletic. I would have loved to have a coach who looked more like me, who could help me get stronger. If you're looking for a coach, you're in the right spot. I would love to help you out. I take clients on an ongoing basis as spaces open up. Make sure you fill out an application in the description so I can reach out to you and see if I can help you get strong and win first place in your next powerlifting competition. My biggest regret is definitely all the years that I spent learning about powerlifting because I felt like I wasn't being given the right guidance. I felt like all the advice that I followed did not work for me and for my body. And I wish I had an experienced coach to guide me. I could have been placing way sooner. I could have been way stronger, made way better decisions. I could have gone to nationals. I could have gone to worlds. I could have been competitive. I lost years of my life, arguably at my peak performance. I was in my 20s when I started, so I wasn't young, but I still had a lot of years ahead of me where I could have been at my peak, where I didn't because I was too stubborn to get coaching for a long enough period of time to where I could really go somewhere with it. But I'm hoping it's not too late, and I'm hoping that now I can go where I want to go because I know better now. I know having a coach is light years ahead of doing it yourself. If you're doing it yourself, let me lend a hand. I would love to help you succeed in powerlifting. What do you think? Did I miss any? Is there anything else I really screwed up on in that competition? Anything you would have done differently? Let me know. If you guys want to hear more about my competition experiences, my failures, and also my triumphs, please let me know. I'd love to share more with you. And as always, if you enjoy my content, make sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.